So here's the deal. We have to go into this last round and we need everything. We need to qualify on pole, we need to win this race, and we need our main competition to finish third. So this is a tall order. But if we don't give it our all, then there's no reason that we should be even showing up at this race. We're going in with the mindset that the car is going to be perfect, which United Autosports is going to deliver for us. Patrick and I have experience at this track from racing an LMP3 last year, and we won at this track, but you can never be too prepared. We had an opportunity to get down here in Miami to visit GPX Lab by my good friend Jeff Siegel, who created this driver development space. He's got an amazing simulator. He's got full data analysis. We've got all the tools that we need to really prepare ourselves. We've got a model of the LMP2 car specifically that we're racing, exact with final drive, all the gear ratios, all the stuff that we need to kind of replicate the experience so that when we show up in Sepang, we are ready to hit the ground running. What typically happens with turn one is you'll overslow a little bit towards the end, and then you get into the maintenance throttle. Also, like if you're tight enough around the apex at the beginning, you have no choice but to wait for to accelerate until you've turned all the way around and then you're straight. If you come off of this apex curve like a car width or so in the middle and just try to wait, thinking more so that you're trying to create the straight line so that you can accelerate some between 1 and 2, you'll get the chance to give it more throttle in a more effective way, right?
So after all these rounds, we don't have the points that we were hoping to have, but just being at a deficit, we have nothing to lose. So we might as well go for it. If there's a chance, I'm going for it, 100% in. We're trying to achieve everything we can get. We're working out, we're meeting with engineers, we're calling around, we're talking to each other daily, we're flying down doing these simulators. We're working every angle that we can work at so that we show up and we are just animal, and we can make it so that we get as many points as we can get qualifying, and we're ahead of our competitors so that we finish this championship out and clinch the championship for second season in a row, first season in P2. So it's a tall order for sure, but it's not unachievable and we can do it.
So on Thursday, we had a half day to kill before we needed to check in with the team, do the track walk that evening. So we went into the city of Kuala Lumpur, which is about an hour from the airport. Gonna head into town, check out the Petronas Towers, maybe the Batu Caves. And man, we saw some cool stuff. We went up the Petronas Twin Towers, such a cool building. Architecture is really neat. It looks very like X-Men state of the art, even though it was built in '98 or so.
Then we went to the Batu Caves, really cool. It's a bunch of stairs, very steep stairs that head up into these caves. Giant sculptures, there's monkeys, it's hot, there's tons of people.
It's a temple in the middle of this, I want to say it's a mountain, right? And then there's caves in it. I don't know anything about it. And you don't really get to read a lot of the information because it's not in your language. So we're visiting all these really cool places on all these trips, but typically we're not really learning much about the history of what it is we're seeing until we get on the old Google and check it out. So, but really interesting to see this stuff. Beautiful Malaysia. It is beautiful right now. It's a muggy 90 degrees. Might be creeping down to 89.
It's extremely hot. Inside the car, it's very hot. Outside the car is hot. Our crew guys are hot. The mechanics are hot. In the car, we're hot. The heat soak, all the competitors at lunch are just talking about how hot they get. The second they get out of the car, they're just limping.
I have to tell you, this team, United Autosports, they are fantastic, and the amount of effort that's gone in to this program and with a lot of the issues we've had with our car in particular has been phenomenal. So clearly, hats off to these guys. The problem is with a race car, anything can go wrong at any time. We're back in the garage. Engine issues are getting worse. It's really confusing because as soon as we got the car out of the container, the guys out here for this race, the guys went full on the car to inspect everything from Thailand, you know, because right after the race they had to ship the car, basically get it into a container and ship it here. So they changed the engine, they changed all the sensors, they changed so many things to try to make sure they had a bulletproof plan coming here. And although it's a different form of issue, we still have a major issue.
And they're working as hard as they can. You can see behind me, they're just destroying their tools, going at it. The car's hot. It's not running. The thing is blistering hot and they're all over it. It's not a good situation, but hopefully these plug wires and these plugs change it around for us. And yeah, then we can finally get to work on our lap times.
It is Saturday morning. Today we've got FP2 and qualifying. And as of right now, we have a race car that doesn't want to race. Ongoing, looming engine, electrical, power issues. It has been throwing us for a loop like nothing I've ever seen before. This has been an extremely complicated and frustrating situation for the team, for us. We've essentially gotten no productive practice time in since we've been here. We've just been changing parts and heading back out on track to see if it eliminates the issue, and nothing has been resolving it. So, you know, we're a little bit behind now, even if the car does run well, which would be great, obviously what we're hoping for. We have a lot of catch up to do and not a lot of time to do it.
Boys stayed here all night. They took the whole car apart. They tried a bunch of different stuff. I mean, this is it. It's down to the wire. The guy just got in the car. Morning practice started. He's out there waiting for his transmission to hear how the car is, how the power is. Fingers crossed.
We're back. We're in the game. Thank God. Car ran well. No issues. The guys, you know, still didn't have a truly clear idea of what our issue was, but, you know, we are completely out of time. They changed as many things as they could in the car to ensure that we could still get out this morning, because some of our backup changes would have probably taken about 18 hours or so to change the entire wiring harness in the chassis. We needed to see if this worked, and if it didn't, we would have maybe foregone qualifying in order to change that to be ready for the race tomorrow, but it worked. However, we've been here before where we resolved an issue and then we had it resurface, whether it's due to heat soak or something. It's going to be extremely hot here. It's 9, 10 in the morning. I'm pouring sweat. It's really warm, but right now the car runs. I just put it P3 with 2 or 3 flying laps. We were purple in Sector 1 and Sector 2 on my in-lap, so car's competitive. It runs well, no misfire, no electrical issues. We're back in the mix. Okay, qualifying once again. Stepped on our own feet a little bit. Car's running great. Patrick had a little bit of a technical violation in the practice session, which involved them removing all of his laps from that session. And since he or Solly did not drive at all in FP1 because of our mechanical issues, technically he has not logged an official lap this weekend. So the choices are the silver rated driver starts the race from the back of the field. That would be me. That is not what our strategy should be. Or he logs the lap in qualifying within 110% of the pole time. And then we pit, change drivers, I get in, finish qualifying, and then we can start the race as normal. But, you know, try to really get the brake temp up before you start your first flying lap. Patrick's gonna start qualifying. We're gonna do a little tag team situation. I'm gonna get in, and then I've got 2 flying laps only before we're out of time to try to put this baby on pole. Most cars are doing that on like lap 5 or 6. So we'll see what I can do in 2 laps, but I'm ready. Tear it up, buddy. Low fuel, stickers.
It is going to be about a race win for very many of these teams. It's going to be about a championship win for these teams, and that championship win comes with one of the biggest prizes in world motorsport, an automatic entry to the biggest race in the world, the Le Mans 24 Hours in June. That is the 23 car with Patrick Byrne at the wheel for this final race of the season. Remember, last year's LMP3 champion, Patrick Byrne. Here is the 23 car. This is the LMP2 AM contender from United Autosports. And that car now in the hands of Cosmo, so they have changed drivers during the session.
We qualified 6th overall. We're second in class. Oddly enough, our main competition, the ARC Bratislava team, did not grab the pole in P2 AM. It was the Algarve Pro guys. And they're not really in the championship hunt unless the both of us DNF. So, you know, they get that extra point. That still leaves the 9-point deficit to Bratislava. We start 1 position ahead of them.
It's a moot point because the car we needed to qualify ahead of, we did. And now we have a good possibility when going into this race, and we race really hard, so we're looking for the championship win.
This is it. It's coming down absolutely to the wire for this championship. We need to defend our victory. We're going to give it everything we have. Tomorrow's a whole other day, so we're going to regroup and come back at it hard. Here we are, race day, last race of the season. Sepang International Circuit. It's epic. Gotta take this moment in, you know? The sun is shining. I'm not gonna be happy about that in a couple hours when it's 1,000,000 degrees in the race car. We have a race car that runs well, it's strong, we're relatively quick. We're a little behind the 8 ball, but it doesn't matter now. It's race day and we are here to bring it. We can still win this championship. You got this. You are the man, you are the best race starter I know. We are putting everything on the line today to make that happen, and we are prepared.
We're pumped. I think we can do this. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. I'm starting, so what's going through my head is not to mess it up and be as fast as I possibly can be. We need to get as big a gap as we can on that ARC car, and we know that the starting position is that time. So that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what we're going to try and do, and that's the mission.
And this race will be underway for the final 4 hours of the season. They wait, they wait, they wait. Pipo Derani goes a little early and he gets the jump on the rest of the field.
I was starting the race first stint, incredibly hot out there. On the start, the right side line took off, they jumped the start, and with that, I mean, the other cars behind it have no choice but to take off with them. The left side stayed put, which really puts us at a disadvantage behind them. I tried my best. I got a great start for what we could do for all the guys in my row. Fought hard, got up quite far, served the drive-through penalty.
Apparently Patrick got called for a warning for crossing over the pit exit line, but I mean, are you serious? The race hadn't even begun, and somehow we managed to get ourselves a penalty.
Then it was just from there, it was making up that delta from the drive-through penalty. It's extremely hot. You're just looking at your time, seeing what you can physically do, playing with brake bias, playing with traction control, trying to get the best time out of this car you can get.
With this heat, you're losing rears, the braking starts getting difficult.
They're already going to be feeling the heat, not just from the pressure exerted on each other, but from that 32-degree heat and rising.
He had a great stint. He drove really well. His performance was actually right on par with what the guys in front of him were doing, so he's doing a really good job. He closed the gap to the car in front of us and ultimately passed them. He said it's hot. He said it's really hot. He probably could have driven longer if he had to, but I don't know about double stinting. And depending on how the race falls out, Solly might have to do a double. I'm not sure if anyone can in these temperatures. We'll see how Solly holds up, and whether or not he does determines whether or not I do more than my stint and a half.
The championship players are all in play here.
We're about mid-race, Solly's in the car. We're exactly where we need to be in running order. We are ahead of the Algarve Pro car, who's ahead of the ARC car. If it finishes like this, we will have the championship. Yeah, Solly did a great job. He's running those times. That's exactly what we needed from all of us.
Now Cosmo is in the car, and the plan is, of course, for him to bring it home.
It's an hour and a half still to go in this. The safety car is out on track. They have picked up the leader. There are the two LMP2 cars. Then you've got the United Autosport cars. They're going to be looking to get by as quick as they possibly can. A lock up there from the 23 car guy Cosmo. He's under pressure though from the Panis Bartes car. That is a battle for third position overall. This is well, it is coming together, isn't it?
It is.
45 minutes or so here.
That's
23. It's the 23. It's the 23 car. That is LMP2 AM, and if he can't get that car going, that is the championship gone in the last half hour again. This place, dear me, what is it you serve up in Malaysia here?
Well, apart from the heat, I mean, that's the thing.
Well,
I think
that is going to be a crippling disappointment for United Autosports.
We defended our victory as best as we could. We had some pretty good pace. Did what I could, and we were unsuccessful. Gearbox issue. I lost first gear, exiting one of the corners. Revved up, you know, tried going for second, had a little trouble getting into second.
It doesn't look like he's even going to make it to the pits at this pace unless he I think he's going to pull it off.
He knows he's in trouble there. That is awful luck. Yeah, now let's not forget, by the way, these are our reigning LMP3 champions.
Yes.
The two of these three drivers. Guy Cosmo, long-time professional driver for the United States, and he's been guiding through the career of Patrick Burke. That is terrible, terrible luck.
Tried, you know, driving around it, flipping myself, using the clutch. I gotta sit down. It's hot out. Malaysia, not cool. And, you know, I was only in for like an hour and a half. I was suffering, but I was okay. I figured if I needed to back down my pace a little bit, you know, I could, to try to conserve some energy. The car was really friggin' good. It's like I want to cry. My wife will make fun of me because I usually don't cry no matter how much I'm upset. And I'm a little dizzy, so I think the worst issue is that once we stopped, man, it just flooded me and I was so heat soaked. But this guy. We did what we could. I'm so proud of him.
This guy killed it.
He rose to the occasion. I can't thank you enough. And your dad. And our sponsor, Torxen. I can't even speak now.
So yeah, I'll talk a little bit more in a bit when